justice, honor, and honesty. Probably the reason you get sucked on me if you're properly addressing she in my presence. Blind with pride, just live the dream. Made to believe that deviation from her plan would lead to the devastation of a nation. No one around me. How can this be? Actions opposite of what she preach. Tells me be free.
What's up, everybody? I'm Gymkhana Josh, and welcome to Beyond the Apex, where we talk about motorcycle everything and then some. Tonight, we're going to be talking about track prep 101. There's a lot of people out there that are interested in hitting the track. There's also some seasoned riders that have been out there a couple times. Actually, I know we have a couple viewers that are pretty seasoned in the game, but there's always some sort of a preparation involved in getting on the track, whether that be weeks ahead of time, hours before time, your mental state before you get out there. That's what we're going to be addressing this evening. Over to my left, you will see my co-host Butter. Butter, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Fresh to death. Got to see the barber yesterday.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yes,
Fresh cut over there.
Finally. Yeah, finally. Today's a very special day. You know, most of y'all who follow me on social media, today was the loss of my dear good track buddy, Andrew Vispoli, which what AVV stands for. So it's a really tough day for me today. I try to disguise it, but sometimes you can't. So at New York Safety Check, Certified Knee Dragger and Team Fast Life and Reckless all had a track day today, and I know for the halftime they did a victory lap for Andrew. Planted a flag up there. So shout outs to Greg and New York Safety Track.
That's awesome.
To honor our member and our good friend. Everybody who knows the track knows him very well. And so we normally would have a ride out tonight because, it's a memorial of his death. But because most of the team was up there, we decided to do it tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be gathering at the site where he passed away at. So anybody interested in coming out to that can definitely hit me up. Just DM me or Facebook me, whatever it is. Great to be on the show. Yeah, I got some great guests today.
Of course. All right. So also joining us, you'll see down at the bottom left of your screen a familiar face to the show. He was actually here with us towards the beginning of our series here. Justin Adams, fellow track junkie and all-around knowledgeable, good guy. So I definitely wanted to have him on here tonight to talk about his track day preparation, which I love. Actually, I love his track day prep. What's up, Justin? How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, just hanging in, listening to my little party going on outside. I hope it's not picking up on my mic, but it's been pretty good. Getting a lot of good riding, so just waiting to get out onto Pennsylvania pretty soon. Right to hit the Pocono Raceway. Yeah, man.
Okay. And then down bottom left, we have Pete Schweitzer, an actual pro expert rider. A lot of us like to feel like we're pro riders or expert riders, but Pete is actually there. He's actually earned the title. He's actually got the awards to prove it. And thank you, Pete. We really appreciate you being here. Your experience on the track will definitely be beneficial tonight. That's for sure.
I'm honored to be here. When Butter asked me to be on the show, I'm like, oh, that'd be great. I mean, listen, I'm very honored to be here. I'm really excited. I'm nervous and excited at the same time, which it's all good. But I'm not a pro. I've been doing it. Back years ago, I was at that level, trying to get back at that level, but I have a lot of responsibility over my head, so that kind of sets you back a little bit. But no, I am so honored to be on your show. This is great. I've watched your show a bunch of times and pick up a lot of stuff, and it's great. I watch your show, man. I had Roger on a couple weeks ago. That was educational. I didn't know anything. I didn't know the stuff that he did. Right on. So it's fun. Thank you, and, both of you guys.
Who's the other guest behind you there? I noticed you brought a friend.
Well, actually, he's been here since October because I have too many other bikes in the garage, and I have to get this out. This is my old bike, my old CBR that I used to use for my track coaching and riding, and now got a couple other bikes now. I bought a 20R1, and I have a 08 750 Suzuki that I race too. So I have a handful downstairs. There's a bunch. There's more. So I'm making room. This is coming out on Sunday when I get back from Jersey.
That's cool.
Is
Actually, I got a
it for
couple
sale,
bikes.
Pete? Are you selling that, Pete?
What's that?
Are you selling the CBR?
No, this bike will stay with me till I am at 6 feet under, and my kids will get it. This bike owes me nothing. I love it. I had it since '06, and I put like, I don't know, 8,000 track miles on it.
Nice.
So it's fun.
Great bike. Great bike.
It is a great bike. It really is.
Yeah, I can't seem to keep a bike on the road, actually. I got 3 right now and can't ride any of them, actually. But anyways, like I was saying in the beginning,
That's just another story. That's another story.
like I was saying in the beginning, episode 10, Beyond the Apex, 10 episodes, butter. We're starting to get up there, man.
Wow.
That's a pretty big milestone.
Congratulations,
right there, too.
guys.
Yeah.
That's like
Double
the season.
digits.
That's like season. We can start season
Good job.
2.
So tonight we're talking about track prep 101 and the ins and outs of getting your body, your mind, your bike ready to be on the track. No matter who you are, I'm sure you can identify with some of the prep that goes into this process. Pete, actually, please kick it off for us. You know, like when you're, even in the past, you know, when you're getting ready for a track day weekend or a race, what kind of things do you and your team or your crew do to get ready for that?
Well, first of all, after I get this pain out of my chest that always comes through because you get anxiety about going to this thing, you know, I've always had, I think I need to have that to feel good. I have a checklist to start, and I think that's a huge thing. Having a checklist in your hand of everything you need for the track. So how do you get that checklist? That's the big question. So you need to have a show like this to find out what you need. So exactly, you know, first of all, you have to have a good bike, you know, with good tires, you know, stuff like that. That's besides the thing, but you need good apparel, you know, leathers, boots, helmets, basic stuff so you can get on your bike and ride. Then you have all of your other necessities, stands, you know, are you going to have a trailer? You're going to put trailer, stands, tools, equipment, you know, spares, lubes, you know, like my trailer is set up so I roll the bikes in, everything's already packed. I have shelves with everything, marked with everything on there. But the checklist is huge. Yeah. Checklist makes you leave your house or wherever you live with everything checked off, and you don't have to worry about anything. So my kids do a lot and help me, mainly at the track. For package, when I'm packing, like I have to pack later tonight, you know, I'll go through my checklist and, you know, we can run down things of the checklist, but I could be here for an hour telling you about it. So you want to have from everything from your clothes to your boots to your bike, up to your leathers, you know, of your feet. You have to have that, you know, and everything in between. That's locks for the trailer, tire pressures, all that stuff, tools, everything.
And you know, actually, honestly, we really could, this topic, track prep, we really could talk about it probably for days on end, because it's not always going to be the same for everybody or every track or, you know, every setup, but there are a lot of fundamentals, which I've found for myself. Unfortunately, it takes every time I go to the track to realize, like, oh, damn, man, I should have brought this. Next time, I got to remember, bring, you know, a picnic table or a cover.
Checklist.
Or, yeah, there you go.
Add it on there.
If we can get a copy of that, I'd appreciate it.
The checklist really helps in reducing some of that anxiety, because, you know, like whenever you've taken any kind of trip anywhere, you know, when you're pulling out, everybody has that thought, like, damn, I feel like I forgot something, but you can't tell what it is. You know, and you make that list, and it really cuts down on that initial anxiety when you're pulling away from your house.
It does. It does. That's a true statement. Good one.
Yeah. Another thing too is, you know, if you're going by yourself or if you're going with a crew, it makes it a little bit different too, because maybe you don't necessarily have to worry so much about, you know, like the trailer. If somebody's got the trailer, they're gonna know how to hook things up for you, etc. But what were you gonna say, Jose? Butter?
So let me give you my rookie experiences on what happened to me. So first time I go to the track, I forgot my boots. And that's how I met Kevin Law. Shout out to Kevin Law. He lent me a pair of boots that day. If not, I would have wasted my weekend. At the time, my ex-wife was with me. We were gonna rent a suit. She couldn't get a suit. That's how we actually got more friendly with Pete.
Oh,
Pete
that's
had a
right.
spare suit inside the fucking trailer.
Holy shit. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Nah,
That's
it's
right.
okay.
Oh, you're
It's cool. We're not rated. We're rated out here.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, all right, just bring my bike and some gas, and hell, fucking no. Man, I got a trailer. I was like, I'm missing another trailer because I look at Pete's trailer and Pete got every fucking thing, like spare bike. I mean, just the fact that he got a spare bike.
Yeah, he came ready to ride. He came ready.
Tons of suit. Like this is years of doing this. This was my rookie.
Right, a lot of mistakes.
But what I will say is that as a person who came unprepared because I didn't have no one like Pete at the time, or show like this to kind of forewarn me what I needed. No tire warmers, nothing. I met a guy like Pete, and Pete was like 100% hospitable. Like, hey, take whatever you need. Need tire pressure? They're in here. You need a tool? It's in there. You need this? It's there. Other than let me ride his fucking track bike, he offered everything inside the trailer. I mean, I got there the night before. We're out there hanging out, drinking.
Yeah.
He's got a great buddy that's always with him. If you see him at the track, his name is Paul. Paul's fucking, I mean, they're like Lauren Hardy, these two. They're fucking class act. I mean, and I picked their brains for hours. Like, I just sat there with them talking shit, and it made me feel so like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because they didn't, in most sports and most male egotistical, alpha male sports, everybody's so busy trying to outdo you and like, oh, I do this and I do that. They're not like that. Like when I met Pete and Paul, they were so busy fucking like roasting each other on how shitty. And then I watched them on the track and I'm like, man, these guys, they fucking joking around like they don't know what they're doing. These motherfuckers is no joke. And you have to see them. Like Pete, I got Pete's old bike and I had to put a kickstand on it because Pete is older than me. And he fucking takes it off the stand. He runs with it and then he jumps. You're not going to catch my 300-pound ass.
Bump starting.
I
do that for a reason because I'm too short. I learned that from Paul. It's a system to get on it. I've almost dumped my bike doing it.
It's so funny because they're these guys are playing with time. I'm still trying to perfect the craft. I'm not on their level yet. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting a fucking kickstand because I'm not fucking running around chasing.
R1 has a kickstand. It's very convenient.
It is.
Dude, you can ride my bike at the track, okay?
You got it.
Justin, what about you? What do you got for like track day prep? I know you got a list. I want to hear this list.
A big one for me, because when I first started out making mistakes, like what Butter's talking about. I mean, I didn't forget my gear, but I forgot food, and that was a huge one. I was like, holy fuck, because not a lot of places they'll have like. Well, they won't have decent food. Like no track I've ever been to has like decent, like good, decent food. They'll like, it's just like crap. Like they buy like shit ton of hot dogs. You know what I mean? It's like you can't be. I mean, yeah, like once in a while, but like, you want to keep things that digest well, that keep you alert, that won't sit heavy in your stomach, and just or make you feel really sleepy. So for me, figuring out what to bring as far as food goes was a huge thing. When I first got there, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just like bring a couple of Cliff Bars. I'll be good. Like, nah. Like, you have no idea like how much energy expends. Like you don't like for those who've never been on a track, you have no idea how much energy you expend and just sitting on a bike and twisting.
It's a workout.
But you do.
It is a workout.
That's a huge point. That is a huge point.
You burn up a lot of calories and a lot of hydration. So like always like bring up more.
Yep.
And one of the things that I found it's this stuff. There are these little tablets. They're called are these little tablets? Noon, Nuun, and they're these little tablets dissolved in water. And they're like slightly effervescent and they're extra hydrating, so they like kind of help more water molecules like stay inside your muscles or something like that. And it's fantastic on those like dripping days.
That's cool.
When you wish you had a helmet dryer.
It's funny you say that, Justin. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but just wanted to get it in. Greg preaches that all the time. A lot of times we're at the track on a hot day, And he's like, guys, stay hydrated because you're keeping your leather suit on, and so I bring a lot of Pedialyte because I tend to like get lightheaded quick.
No, that's a good one, yeah.
And I've seen guys crash at the track because they're dehydrated and they get delusional after lunchtime because they've just been
After lunch.
Yeah.
After lunch is the key time when crashes occur, because everybody just had their food and they're, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, well, they're fatigued, believe it or not, and then they make a mental mistake and then they're on their head. I see that. I've been doing track days since 2001, and I've seen that so many times. And
you're feeling good because your blood sugar's changed. So
yeah.
Your attitude is up because your blood sugar's up, but your intestines and your nervous system is still taxed.
Yep.
I bet all you at home that tuned in this evening didn't know you were going to get a lesson in nutrition as well.
But if you think about it, it's a huge thing. And anybody who's been to the track for the whole day on a hot summer day, wherever you are, Jersey, Loudon, wherever, when it's super hot, at the end of the day, you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to go out for this last session. I'm kind of beat, but I still do.
Even since we're already talking about food, I would say, honestly, another thing that you should be aware of is that, for a track day weekend, for example, usually it'll be a Saturday, Sunday. So there's 2 days that you got to have food throughout the day and whatnot. But me, personally, I'll usually go to the track on Friday evening, set up shop, pull the bike out, set my stands out, do what I need to do. There's a lot of people that are sitting around on Friday night, Saturday night, cooking out, drinking, having fun.
Do.
So if you're planning on, socializing or actually like having food when you get to the track on a Friday night, you better have that in your mind too, because there's no vendors open on Friday nights. It's not happening for you.
No. And you get yourself a little grill. Get a mini grill. I eat better at the track than I do at home. We do. I swear I do.
I hope your wife does not hear this show because you
I don't have a wife. I'm glad to hear that. I'm happily not-wifed.
She's sitting behind him in that room.
It's right there. That's my wife.
So so again, even now as myself starting off, I have a small checklist of stuff that I do. So, I have some medical issues, so I always got to make sure I prep my medication because that's important. If you're on any medication, make sure you take it, label it. I suggest another key thing that I've used is on the iPhone. I've learned to set up an emergency contact. God forbid I go down at the track and I'm by myself. You can just open my phone automatically to the emergency contact. You don't need my fingerprints. And it'll have like a list of medications I take and emergency contacts and all that. So that's kind of good for people who go out to the track by themselves. But, pack your lunch. Get a refrigerator. I pack tons of Pedialyte or Gatorades. Tuna fish. Tuna fish is always good. It's simple to make. You could only have, but I suggest anytime you go to the track, load up on fucking, proteins, eggs in the morning. You can boil eggs and keep them cold, like make egg salad, whatever the case may be. But have a really good breakfast. Breakfast is important. A lot of people just go on the track. A lot of people drive up the day of, so they're like already tired because they put a 2-3 hour drive in.
That's
right. Yeah.
I don't recommend that to anybody. I mean, there's people that do it, and I respect them for that. But rest of
it's tough. Hotel, man. That's tough to do. I want to go back to a point you were talking about emergency contacts on prepping yourself to go to the track. And I think this is very important because you said that, you can get your emergency contact, hit your phone, and you call somebody. I recommend you take someone to the track with you to help out because not just, okay, God forbid something happens, they, if you get hurt, they can drive you home. You have somebody there that can watch, maybe take some pictures, help you with your bike, help you with everything, with gas, because you have to keep putting fuel in that thing. You want to check your tire pressures pretty much all the time, make sure everything's good. There's always stuff that loosens up. You want to have somebody there to help you out. I think that's a huge thing. I think that's one of the main things.
Actually,
and also like attitudinally. Like for your or what do they call it? Morale. So I don't mean like morale in a military serious sense, but there's one thing of going back to your paddock and you're there by yourself.
It sucks.
It
sucks.
Or going back to your paddock and you have a friend or a girlfriend or a relative or something like that. It's totally different.
It's
and they're just
exciting,
sitting there
actually.
waiting for you. And it's like, I don't know, it just has like a better feeling. Like, so not only is it like safer and more helpful, but it also like kind of changes your attitude. I mean, unless you're like a serious lone wolf and you're just like, fuck it, like I don't need anybody. But like personally, I think it's great when you have at least one other person there. And it's also nice when someone, if they're also riding and they're in a different class, so that you're like kind of like switching on and off. You know what I mean? That's always really good too.
Yeah,
It's not hard to make
that's
friends
a
on the
huge
track,
thing
though,
to have
too,
somebody.
you know. I actually did the whole lone wolf thing back in March when I went down to Georgia, and the dude that pulled up next to me on Friday night, this guy named Joe, it didn't take much. It didn't really take long during that first morning on Saturday for all of a sudden we're just kind of standing around. He's like, "Hey, what kind of bike is that?" And then from there it was like every session we were going back and forth, like, "Oh, how was it out there? How was it with your class? Oh, what are you gonna do to the bike? Are you gonna change this? Are you gonna do that?" It's really easy to make friends, but it's definitely what you said, though. It definitely improves your overall morale if you have somebody already there with you. But Butter, that emergency contact app, is that like inherent to the iPhone, or is that something you had to download?
Yeah. On the iPhone, if you actually if you try to unlock my phone, you won't be able to. But if you see it, there is a way to. It'll say emergency contact on it. It'll have like a medical. I won't. It won't show me now because I won't. I'm on it, so it recognizes who the hell I
Well,
be.
when you started talking
But
about the app, you actually brought up. Actually, that brings up another point too. Is like, I'm a nerd. I'm an electronics geek. I love cameras and microphones and recording and editing and all these other things. Which, if you're gonna go to a track and you're starting to get serious about your riding, you might want to consider having a video, some sort of video recording of your session. I know you don't have to go super nuts and get the GPS receiver and put the track outline on your video or anything like that, but I know
that's super fun
right?
though.
But I know John Watson
That's
Jr.,
like
one of
your
the
own video
coaches
game.
for N2 that I've learned a lot from actually this past year. He would actually both on the street and on the track follow students, follow novice riders with a camera, and then be able to go back and tell them afterwards, you know, like, hey, you see your body position here, hey, you see what you're doing right here, hey, you see your braking here and your line. It's super beneficial. So, you know, music, cell phone apps, things like that. Another thing you definitely want to keep in mind before you get to set up and hit the paddock or wherever you're going, you know, electronics are a big thing for me.
So can I ask you a question of y'all?
Go ahead, Justin.
So if there's like something that you already have or something you added to the things that you bring to the track that like really changed your experience, was there anything like that for you guys? Like for me, like I'll start off. For me, bringing a rug was like one of the hugest things that changed everything for me. Because there's a huge difference. You take off your boots and you're standing on rocks, or you're standing on a pair of old socks. You know what I mean? Or you're standing on pavement or grass or mud, versus like a nice rug. And
You're absolutely right.
Big rug. And that changed everything for me. I was like, oh man, because like when your feet are happy, like everything's happy. You know?
It sounds like a sock commercial right there.
Right.
When your feet are happy, everything's happy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. By my socks.
Smart
so yeah,
move.
I mean, like having a rug, man, that changed my life. But it took me a lot of track days to figure that out. You know, and be like, damn, this rocks suck. But yeah, so you guys like have anything that like changed your experience just by adding like one thing?
I got something, but what do you guys got? Butter, what were you about to say?
Well, you need a tent, boy, because on a hot fucking day, you don't want to be sitting out there not covering
your
head. Tents are great.
True.
You know, under your tent, you can keep you a little cooler. You know, the sun is not hitting it. Obviously, like Justin said, you got a rug. I got lucky last time. I forgot my rug, and I was out with the Ukrainian mafia. Shout outs to those guys, and we've been having some great track times. And they had the rug, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot the rug. And my tent was so big that we were sharing the tent because they had so much stuff. So I was like, no, put it over here. And then I sat down. And I'm like, man, lucky I didn't bring. Lucky they have this rug because the floor was on fire. Then it rained that morning. And then it got hot. So it's like I would have been like wet socks and So it's true. It's true. What Justice said. A rug, a tent. At least 10 by 10. Get your coolers out. A lot of hydration. It's cool to have someone, but what I really want to say is like I'm a lone wolf a lot of times. Everybody talks a good game. Yeah, we're going to the track. We're going to track. I just get up and go because I don't really depend on anybody. So, but I've been blessed because you meet guys, and I'll give it to you a breakdown. At New York Safety Track, the most amazing people that I've ever met. Certified knee draggers. Carlos, awesome. His hospitality is impeccable. Team Reckless, they're out there all the time. There's a gentleman and his wife. I forget his name, and I apologize. He has a long beard, bald. His wife, they've got to be in there.
Archer.
Yeah.
Archer.
Fucking amazing.
He's a cool dude. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Awesome guys. And then, you got the coaches that are out there. They're usually on the side of the paddock, right-hand side. I've met so many people. So even going by myself, I've had people to just, Paul and Pete, I've hung out in their trailer and I've seen their beds. They got beds. They got air conditioning in their fucking trailer.
Now I do. I do now.
You're hanging out with these guys.
So, Butter, it sounds like the thing that you wouldn't leave home without is a welcoming personality.
That goes a long way. That goes a long way.
Oh, yeah.
I try to remember everything I need. And sometimes I'm still, listen, I got 3 years doing this and I'm still learning. I'm still learning the bike. I haven't found the ideal bike to ride. I've been trying several bikes. I just started riding Pete's old Gixxer. I was comfortable at it when I first rode it, and then it became a little bit different when I rode it with an actual full tracksuit. So the adjustment there has been a little bit difficult. I'm not big on. I'm not a Suzuki guy. Everybody who knows me will tell you.
I figured that out.
Yeah, anybody who gives me I wouldn't even take one for free. But actually, the bike was set up. Pete set up the bike really cool. Roger and I not that much different in weight, so it was easy for me to just make minor adjustments with the foot pegs and a little bit on the suspension. So I recently, my first time was out in May with the bike. I was still getting used to it. Plus, I was just breaking in a new tracksuit. So now I'm hoping when I go for this 3-day weekend that I'm a little bit easier. And I know my Thursday would be a little bit more difficult because it'll be the first day back after so long. That's another thing. I try not to keep so many days apart from the first track time to the next track time, because whatever you learned that last time, you'll deplete, your memory forgets. So if you're going to go, be consistent about it, because that's important too. So you can have all the shit to be ready for the track, but if you're not consistent with it, it really is going to mess up your skills.
The thing that I added after 2 trips to the track, to go back to what Justin was asking, specifically, the greatest thing that I added to my collection of things that I brought is an extension cord. Because if you do not have some kind of power source at the track, you're not charging your phone, you're not charging your cameras, you're not doing anything. Some kind of power source, maybe not necessarily extension cord, but you pay for a parking spot there, you get power in most places. So bring an extension cord. Promise you, you'll thank yourself. That is for sure. What you got, Pete? What thing? Like he said, what was the thing that was the most important to add?
On top of the carpet, I had. Too bad you weren't pitted next to me, because I have spare carpets. I have wall carpets. My trailer, I had giant carpet. Both my bikes get carpets, and there's a carpet down my ramp. I got carpet. So I think that one of the recently, probably within the past few years, is bringing a grill.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing a grill, a compact grill, has been huge, because we can cook out and eat right there. I have never had a grill before. It's not me. Somebody else always had one. So now grill, and having that is so nice, because I can, if I need to cook something, I'll cook it. I have all that stuff, the generator that runs everything that's plugged into my trailer. Because I've been doing this for so long. If I started to extension cord, I have a complete container with 4 extension cords in there and a ton of splitters. So extension cord is huge. Having power to run everything is huge. So a Honda generator is the EU 2000 is a
I've heard about
perfect.
that. You can give it Harbor Freight.
And if you find one for under $700 used, take it because you're not going to find it for anything less than that.
Not too long ago, actually. I'm one of the Facebook track day groups I'm a part of. Harbor Freight had them on sale. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 actually. So yeah,
then you get it. If it's a Honda E2000, you get it because they're like $1,000 to $1,200.
I swear,
new.
$500 or $600.
Somebody sells. Oh my gosh, I'd buy.
Get 2 of them.
So like a rubber.
There you go.
Right. There's always necessities that I always like. Everything on this list is like I need all trailer inventory, clothes, all that stuff. But I think the main bringing a grill has been so nice because I can bring my food right there, and I love hanging out at the track. I love camping out at the track with everybody. You know, it's so fun. I've met so many people, and I'm friends with all of them. I never met anybody that didn't like me or I didn't like.
Hey, give us some of those items off your list. I know you got the checklist right there with you, Pete. Like shoot some of the most important things off that list to us.
Let's see. All right. So for tools, you have your box wrenches, you have your ratchets, sockets, Allen keys or Allen sockets. It's a huge thing because there's a lot of Allens on bikes, a lot of Allen sockets. I mean, a lot of Allen hexes, safety wire pliers. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, because if you go and you're say something needs to be changed, like let's say you gotta change out your brake pads, and then that you clipped off the safety wire that you put on the night before, and then you don't have your safety wire again.
Yeah.
So definitely a big thing to bring your safety wire.
That tools, that's a main thing. And then you have like your repair kits. Here's a couple things that you probably don't think about. I got gas tank repair on here. I have plastic weld, and me and Paul Miles mainly came up with this list, but I've added some stuff, and he's added a bunch. But there's a lot of stuff, JB Weld. That's what I meant to say. Not the JB Weld stuff. It's huge. You have a crash and you want to keep riding, you may have to do some JB welding. I've seen that happen. And you want to have kind of a transportation to get around. Bicycle, pit bike, something like that. Canopy is a huge thing. Canopy is one of the main things too. You want to be under a canopy.
Hey, I want to correct.
Dude, I saw Greg on with one of those wheels things you stand on. And it's got the wheel between your feet. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the unicycle, the electric unicycle.
It's a Segway, but it's like a single wheel.
Yeah.
You stand on it and it's just got one wheel that goes between your feet. Yeah, man. I was like,
I'd have that in my head. I'd crash on my head on that thing. I'd put my leathers on to ride that thing.
Skateboard actually. So I'm getting familiar with that. That'll be at the track here coming up soon.
There you go.
Hey, so I got to correct myself actually. I said the Honda generator was $500 or $600. At Harbor Freight not too long ago, back in January, actually, there was a Predator 2,000 watt inverter generator for $449 on sale, but it was not the Honda, so that is my bad.
The thing about the Honda, and I'll tell you, not that it's just reliable, one pull over the winter and it starts, not even a problem. But the thing is, it's quiet for the people around you. We can have this conversation at this level and have the generator between us and still have this conversation. So it's some of the other smaller generators sound like they're running on steam. They're so loud. and there's a few people that probably know them, older ones that are like, holy crap, they're so loud. So the Honda generator is super quiet, and you can put it on quiet mode, and it's for the other people around you, which when you're in a tight quarter, especially at safety track, it's not bothering other people. And I've been around generators that are bothering the heck out of you.
So the good reason for the generator is because a lot of guys have their own compression stuff. They have air machine. You got to put air in your tire. You might have. So there's a lot of things that you will need to, you need electricity for. And the generator actually, most importantly, guys, we forgot tire warmers. A lot of people, bring their tire warmers because they don't want to go out on cold tires, and you need that. You need a generator for that. You need a generator. You need some sort of electricity for that. So that's also like on the checklist. I just spoke to Rick Pence from Parts Unlimited. I'm like, dude, I need new tire warmers. I had a problem. I bought some stuff, and one of them I think was not good. So I'm trying to get the next set before July 2nd. So July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I know I'll be out. I know, Pete, you're racing tomorrow, right?
No, I'm going to the Riders Club event to coach Friday, Saturday, and then following Thursday, I'm going down for the Riders Club practice day on Friday, then the CCS races Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
That's an adult racing that weekend.
All right, yeah. I told you I might come up Sunday because
that'd be great.
I know Certified Knee Draggers and Reckless are getting together to do something July 2nd, and then 3rd and 4th is just the ultimate pig roast. I'm not sure if anybody's ever been to it. Have you been to it, Justin? The NY.
No.
Yeah. So
there's one that's usually up there like at the end of the season. There's
No. So Greg every year does pig roast for the 4th of July weekend. It's just tons of food, drinking, partying. It's like the ultimate weekend. I have not met anybody who said anything bad about it. Not even the price, because it's a little bit more than the actual track weekend, but all the stuff that comes with it. So this is my first year going to do it. So I'm like really looking forward to it, to the pig roast. And then Sunday, I know I said I'd come down and see Pete ride. I might want to come down because his New Jersey Motorsport is not that far from me. So it's I'll be on the.
It's a trip for me. I'm like about 6 hours away from it.
Yeah, it's what it's like an hour and a half from New York.
Yeah, I live in Western Mass, so it's a long trip, but I don't mind doing it because it's so worth the trip. And I love the Riders Club, and Charity does a great job with that.
She's amazing. Charity is amazing on so many levels.
Charity goes above and beyond.
Let me tell you something. To have and it's awesome that there's a woman in charge of this, only because she gives 1,000% to the sport. She's consistent on emails. I've written back and forth with her. She replies, and I know she gets thousands of emails, but she always replies. If it takes her more than 24 hours, there had to be some sort of emergency. Charity always replies. She's consistent. She's fair. I've dealt with her via email at the track with people there, and I wasn't there yet. And via email, we're like, he's good. Yeah, he paid. Like, he set up. She's so easy to deal with, and I love her. Not that anybody else isn't, but she is awesome. She is awesome.
One thing there's with her is you never have a stupid question for her. Even if you think it is, it's not. She goes above and beyond.
Yeah, she keeps everybody in tune, and I like that. She definitely runs a tight ship.
Hey.
Greg and Ann also do a great stuff with that too.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Sinister, by the way. He checked in on the chat, so shout out to Mr. Sinister. For anybody that doesn't know who that is, he's actually one of the badass N2 coaches, also a track monster. We had him on the show not too long ago about track topic, actually. Speaking
of N2, I wanted the recent words that were passed. I was made me think of one other thing as far as preparation, and that's setting up your date. So it's not like the sort of thing where you can just like roll up and be like, "Hey, can I ride today?" So for those that are interested in doing this, you need to, depending on the track, you need to probably either get in touch with the track themselves, but usually it's going to be with a riding organization. So like N2 is one of them, and they're really good. And Team Promotion is another one. So what are the other groups that are?
So you got Evolve. You got Evolve GT.
Evolve GT is a good one.
You got Certified Knee Draggers. You got Team Reckless. Team Fast Life is growing. Eventually, I'd like to grow AVV racing to the point where I can just host track days on my own and not have to piggyback on anybody. But it's
stay tuned.
Commitment is very important. Commitment is very important, and a lot of times, and I myself do it. I'll say, hey, I was supposed to go this weekend. And then I got invited to so many private events that I had to do I not keep my friends and not go to these events and family events, doing the bike life stuff that takes up 80% of my life. So I had to make a choice this weekend, and I bailed out, which really sucks because I really wanted to get on the track, and I couldn't. But I had to also have to take care of some priorities. But I am making a 3-day weekend. Like I'm gonna be tracked the fuck out the first week. Like some of my friends are like, "You going for 3 days?" And I'm like, "What is there? What is the fucking Great Adventures won't open soon? So it's not like I can get on a plane. Might as well go do what the fuck I love." And I'm just gonna track this weekend.
And the point is that you can't just pack up all of your stuff and show up and be like, "What's up, guys? You got any room for me?" So you really got to find one of these organizations that we just listed.
Butter could do it. Nobody else probably could.
Butter might be able to do it. But normal people without superpowers, they're gonna have to call up these organizations and buy yourself a ticket for whatever weekend you want. And a lot of times these tracks don't just run motorcycles; they'll share them with other things like cars and so on. So you got to look at their schedule. You got to and pair it up with your own schedule. So part of preparation, I would definitely say, is scheduling and seeing what works for you and what works for the track.
One important thing that I do like. So there's several days on the. I know New York Safety does it. Riders Club is a little different, but what I like about Riders Club is, and both do it. So these are, basically because I go to these tracks more often. So the Riders Club has a first-time ride for $99. That includes classroom teaching. You get coaches. You get to borrow a suit. Like that's a lot. I mean, for us regular guys,
it is really good idea. It's a really good deal. I teach the new riders there all the intro with Dave Moses. He does a great class. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Well, no, yeah, and I was saying that like that's how I met Pete. Pete followed me and my ex-wife on my first time out, and he was very, how can I say, he critiqued me without hurting my feelings, and I think no, and let me just explain. I think that is the most, because you know what? He used every technique possible not to discourage me that I wasn't ready for the track. And that's important because I teach people how to ride a regular street bike on the street, and I try to use anything that would sound negative without trying to teach. That is important because even when I was sitting in my head saying, "Damn, I did this wrong, I did that wrong," Pete was like, "No, you did this, you fought." Like he found the positive points, and then he just mentioned, "Well, let's work on this. Next time we go out, and that's what made me like cling on to him because I was like, I feel like I fucked up, and listening to him, I felt like I did great. But that's important because if someone goes out there and feels like they didn't do the right thing, they get disencouraged, and they're like, "Oh, maybe this shit is not for me." You know what I mean? But Pete asked me the question, "How did you feel in your tracksuit? Is it okay? Are you comfortable in your shoe? Are you positioning your feet? I saw your foot hanging over here." And these are all questions these are things that he threw at me that when I figured it out, I got better. Positioning. I didn't know I had to put the ball on my feet on the fucking foot peg. I'm riding flat-footed on the fucking thing. Pete's like, "Keep your foot back." Why? Because when I actually laid the bike down, I scraped my fucking boot. If my foot would have been out, I broke my foot. So these are things that I learned. And this was all at a $99 class. This was like my first time. Like I was like, holy shit, this is cool. I learned so much on my first class. And thanks to Pete, I've got better. I actually moved up in intermediate, like after the first few track days and stuff like that. So that was a really good thing. And then New York Safety has a similar thing. It's called Rookie Weekend. The only thing is they put it on their calendar. So on their calendar, you'll see Rookie Weekend, and it's like $125 special. There's coaches. You get a tracksuit if you need it. So those are the things you got to look for on those calendars, like Justin mentioned. Those are going to be the important things because a lot of guys think, "I've been riding 20 some odd years. I know what I'm doing. I don't need bullshit. I've been riding almost 30 fucking years." And until I met Pete, I didn't realize I was riding wrong my whole fucking life.
That is a really good point too. Pete, he's a good coach. He approaches instruction in a positive way and has a way of talking to people, obviously, that helps people, stay motivated about the sport. But one thing that you can do if you want to get ready for the track is get your mind right. Get your attitude right about the entire situation. If you're going out here for a non-race day weekend and you're trying to become a better rider, be humble about your riding skills and taking instruction from people that are better than you. You know, these coaches aren't out here trying to like, well, maybe some of them are trying to show off a little bit, but I would say, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they're out there.
There are some, yeah.
There's got to be some guys out there that are trying to show what they can do, but you know, they're mostly there to help you become a better rider and enjoy the sport in a safe manner. So if you go out there with some like, I'm the baddest out here and I'm gonna try and, you know, full throttle my Gixxer 1000 the entire way around the track, you're probably gonna have a bad.
Come on with the Suzuki hate.
I didn't mean it like that.
Suzuki.
It ain't happening.
Josh, one thing I have written on my dry erase board, my trailer, along with like tire pressures and suspension settings, just little notes, is up in the right corner, and it's highlighted. And when you look at it, you can't miss it. It says relax. That is a huge thing. You can't be gripping the bars tight. You can't be all tense about going out on the track. You have to stop, just take a step back, and like, I'm going to ride my bike. I've ridden this thing for 20,000 miles. I'm going to ride my bike on a different road. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, yep. I put the same reminder on my tank, and it says on a piece of tape, and it says breathe. So, like I keep that right on the nose of my tank by the top tree.
And that's a good thing. I mean, that's the same thing as, okay, dude, relax. You'll be fine.
One thing I learned, and I know Pete can attest to that, Justin too. So there's a lot of guys at the track, you know, they're focused on time and they're trying to pass other people, and that's a big thing in the paddock sometimes with these older guys. Oh, did you see the new guy try to pass us and whatever. If you go with that mentality, you're gonna crash. I'm telling you that right now. I see these guys in the paddocks, they're in there talking shit to each other, doing nonsense, and then I see the truck and they're the bike coming back. What I learned was, I don't care who goes past me, who does what, I'm going to do it until I'm comfortable. Now, a lot of guys that I see, they buy timers. So you can do a great time and somebody has passed you, but you could have did a lap and you did a great lap. You did a 140. Like, I'm proud of myself. I did a 140. That person could have did a 150. You wouldn't know because he's so busy trying to pass. You know, so time is important. A lot of guys will talk trash based on time and not try to outdo each other on the track, because that's where you're going to get hurt. A lot of times people get hurt trying to impress another rider. It's not worth it. It's always best, you know, get yourself a timer as you get better, and you'll see the results on the timer. I learned that from Pete and several other coaches. Paul, I know Pete has a friend. We call him Goldberg. He fucking looks like Bill Goldberg on a fucking R1. It's sickening. Every time I see him, I like, yo, he's so fucking big. Like, he can lift you and your bike with one arm. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. He's a fucking giant teddy bear.
He spins the bike around the kickstand like it's a bicycle.
Yeah. And he's on the track. He's got earplugs on, and he goes in, and he's so focused. And when you watch him, he's just like, he goes out, does his laps, come back in, and he's like, and he has like this whole fucking process that he does. And you would think that he's so antisocial the way because he's focused. He's like completely focused. It's like, it's amazing just watching him. And then, like, you know, sometimes when I like try to chat with him, I get nervous, but he's like a big teddy bear because he's so friendly, so cool.
Nobody screws with me when I'm with him.
Well, that makes me think of like another type of prep, like, you know, Butter, you were mentioning like an attitude prep in like kind of like you know, emptying your cup, so to speak, in terms of like your ego or what to expect or whatever. But like what was just talked about was making me think of sort of like getting your head right in terms of like staying focused, but like kind of like driving out like any kind of nonsense that's in your head, be it like maybe you read a whole bunch of books before going to the track, thinking you're going to get better overnight.
Yeah, right.
Or something
man.
like that.
Ain't nobody thinking about books when they're going to the track. They're thinking about the girls they want to see on their bikes. They're thinking about the parties they're going to go to the
I've
next
done
night.
that though. I've done that though. Like weeks before, I'm like, oh, I'm going to study. You know what I mean? And then that threw off my brain. I wasn't relaxed mentally and as focused because I was like trying to like improve quickly. So that's just one thing, but like, you know, I mean, it could be being focused on other riders. It could be focused on your own times. It could be focused on like getting too technical with like, with your bike when you're not there yet. There's a whole host of things that can add as like distractions, and maybe good preparation would be, I mean, for some, like having some kind of meditation. Like I know riders, they really bank on meditating before riding as a means of relaxing and focusing their mind. Because having distractions out there mentally, it can really mess with you. Yeah. And you know, it can cause mistakes. I don't know if it'll cause a crash, but it'll cause mistakes because you're over chattering in your head.
What I like about New York Safety, they have a meeting prior to anybody getting on the track. Everybody, expert, intermediate, newbies, rookies, everybody has to go through a meeting. And then you have like the rookie guys who have like an extra meeting because it's their first time. Now, what's really cool about that is when you go to these meetings, everyone, no matter how long they've been riding, is on the same page. You're getting yelled at the same way. You're getting the same instructions. You're getting the same anything. It goes for everybody who's in that group. Now, however way you get your psyche, like after the meeting, I like to put on a little music, get myself happy, right? Because happy is important. You can't ride the bike. If you ride your bike angry, it's not going to fare well. You want to be happy, right? But no, absolutely. You know, you just...
No, you're right.
Watching something funny or just even whoever you're at the track with, just that vibe, the good vibe. I recently took my cousin, Chinky, for the first time, and he was so great having him because I was alone and I had just recovered from the heart attack, and it was my first day at the track and I was kind of messed up. But just having that positive vibe, even the people you're in the paddock with, good vibes, set it off. And once you do that, man, it's just like, all right, let's just get out and ride and just follow the instructions. Like you said, Justin,
for real.
In the words of Bruce Lee, like, be water, my friend. Go there empty, go there ready to form into what's going to become. And I thank God I had one accident at the track, but the accident was my fault because I didn't take off my crash cage, and I got so good.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
I was so amped. I was doing so well, and even Pete and my boy Reyes, Reaper, you know, they were like, "Yo, take the fucking crash cage off, bro. You're doing good. I'm watching you. I saw you in turn. Blah blah blah. You were," and I'm like, "Yeah." I still didn't feel comfortable, and I was like, whatever." And then I went out and I did the second or third lap, and I went in and I was so fucking comfortable that I didn't realize that my cage just chopped the floor.
You know why that happened? I'll tell you why that happened. Because you started to get faster. So when you were going faster, you were leaning the bike over farther. You fell in 5 on that left-hander.
Yeah.
I remember that. I'm like, okay, so he's going faster. He hit the crash, whatever those things are. Yeah. And that's why you fell. Because you were actually going faster. You felt comfortable, but you felt comfortable going faster.
I was in a turn at like 80, 90 miles an hour that I took the first time at like 40. And I was like, wow. And I'm on the 1000. I was in third gear. You know, my 1000. In first gear, I could pull 120. So I was like, wow, I'm doing good in third gear. And you're right. I was so in tuned, and then I forgot. And that's what cost me my bike. But
so what happened? The crash cage like caught the pavement?
Yeah, because he was going faster and he was leaning the bike over.
Right, so you leaned over and the crash cage was taking out your lean angle.
So
just having a crash cage there.
At the end of the crash cage, on the bottom half where the fairing right after the tire comes in, I had these little mushroom pecks that stick out about 4 inches. So when I was leaning the bike out, lucky they were mushrooms. So just snagged
the pavement.
It just snagged it, and I mean, lucky for me, I didn't care for the bike. I let it go. I rolled one way, bike went the other way.
That's what you want to do anyways.
My leathers were completely non-scratch. My helmet had some scratch on like the mirror, but that was it. I was able to walk away from all that And I tell you, I went into that turn like 80, 90 miles an hour, which I was originally doing at like 45. And like Pete said, I got so comfortable. It was my, it was it was like I was already third or fourth session in, and it felt great. And just my mind was relaxed, but I was so happy. And, it is what it is. But, mental preparation is important because at that day I started.
Yeah, there's this guy that I would go with the track with. He moved out to Cali recently, my friend Davey. And he was older than me. And it was like when we got there, he got transformed into like this little kid. It was amazing. I mean, he's like 10 years older than me or something. Maybe not that much. Sorry, Davey, for listening.
Magical.
But no, but he had this like giddy little grin on his face the entire time, and his eyes were all sparkly like a little kid. And it was like the best person to have with you because he's like, yeah, dude, like let's go. And like having a positive attitude instead of being like comparative, like because that'll really get you down. If you're like comparing yourself, comparing your bike, comparing your riding, like that will bring down your mentality a lot, and you'll like literally like feel heavier. You know what I'm saying? So when you're feeling positive and feeling good, you'll feel lighter, you'll ride easier, and you'll have like I think a better experience. Even if you're not even worried about times and your times are slow, at least you'll have a pleasant attitude about it. And that makes a big difference, I think.
In regards to like the crash cage in Butter's case, not everybody has a dedicated track bike. Some guys bring out their street bikes to the track, and that's one thing for you guys out there that have never been before to think about as well. There's probably a lot of trash on your street bike that you don't even need on the track. I mean, a crash cage can be beneficial. It could definitely save your cases and stuff like that.
So apparently mirrors are trash.
Yeah. You don't need mirrors on the track.
I'm just kidding.
You're not looking in your...
No, they are on the track bike. Yeah.
If you're looking in your mirrors on the track, you're wrong. So, we already talked about
exactly
your tools.
But I gotta worry about my sexy.
Because before you get your street bike on the track, you're either gonna tape off those mirrors, tape off those headlights, those tail lights, those markers, those reflectors, or you're gonna take them off. Just keep that in mind as well. You don't need wheelie bars on your track bike. You don't need a seat, a passenger seat on your track bike. I always swap it out for like the smooth, like the plastic fairing instead of the seat. There's a lot of stuff that you really don't need on a. Actually, shoot, my track bike, it doesn't even have a key. It doesn't even have an ignition. It's just got the hardwired switch, so you don't even need a key on your bike. There's a lot of things that you can reduce on your total load on your track bike.
Now, if you do have a hybrid, right? Okay, going from like street to track, what I've done, and it's really easy. I found on eBay is that they sell turn signals made for on-road, off-road dirt bikes. Okay, and these turn signals have a male 1/4-inch mono jack on it. So what you can do is you install the female end on your bike, and then these turn signals, they just pop in.
It's like quick disconnect.
And then when you're ready to go to the track, you just pop them off and throw them in your toolbox, and you're good to go. And you can do the same thing with a headlight. If you've got like not stock, but if you have like an aftermarket, like small kind of headlight, you can wire in a 1/4-inch mono jack and just pop that shit off.
The first time I ever rode with Justin, actually that's still been the only time we've even rode up north. Well, we did ride again together, but we didn't actually know each other at the time. But in any case, the first time I ever met Justin and rode with him to north of New York, he came out on his CBR, which is this type of a hybrid street track bike that he's talking about. And I swear, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh snap, this guy, one, is probably going to get pulled over for riding a track bike on the street. And two, I was like, well, he at least came out, meaning business. He actually came out to ride instead of, sit around in a parking lot. So he actually told me later on all the modifications he did to his CBR to make it, able to be converted between street legal or semi-street legal to track version. And yeah, for anybody that's interested in not having two bikes, or you don't have space for two bikes, that's always something to look into as well, for sure.
Yeah, it certainly helps to be able to. I mean, if you don't want to tape things off, because it is kind of a hassle that, like, if you go down, I mean, granted, right? Turn signals aren't that expensive, mirrors aren't that expensive, but you go down and that shit snaps off. You got to deal with it.
Everybody
You know
else
what I mean?
has to deal with it too.
So
They gotta navigate around their mirrors and
right,
shit.
yeah, that shit
Yeah.
off. Yeah. So it's like if you're only going like a couple times a season, yeah, don't worry about it. But if you've got a like if you go to the track frequently throughout the season, but you don't have a dedicated track bike, I would highly suggest figuring out either what I'm suggesting is modifying those components on your bike to easily pop on and off. Maybe swapping the big mirrors, the stock mirrors for like bar ends, you can just take off with an Allen key, and just make so. As far as what you're saying, bike prep, as far as like, the show is concerned, is what I'm saying is make the transition from street to track as quick and painless as possible, because you want to turn it into like maybe a 20-minute thing instead of an hour-long thing, right?
Yep.
So,
or you could just get a track bike and make it easy.
Actually, track bikes are super cheap. I don't know why a lot of people don't
can
go
find
that
them
route.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw an FZ6 for $500 last like a couple weeks ago. The gentleman and his wife were selling their FZ6 for $500.
They're really cheap.
Yeah.
You can find them. You can find them relatively inexpensive.
I mean, you think about it too. When you're going out there to learn how to ride and you're trying to, become a better, faster rider, you don't need the newest, biggest, baddest, motorcycle out there. You get an older, used, beat up, no title, no registration track bike, or that, yeah.
You can find these things for $2,500 easy.
Yep.
This is 03. I mean, it doesn't need much to go on the track. I tell you. I mean, even in stock, a few little things won't cost you much.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I got a guy selling me three bikes. He's like, give me $7,500 for all three.
Bring his total bike count to like 20.
He's got a ZX6, a GSX-R 1000, and a CBR 03. Or he's like, I'll take them off, take off for $7,500. I'm pretty sure he'd sell them more cheap individually, but you're right. I get people texting me while I'm on the show telling me they're selling their track bike.
This dude's wheeling and
right,
dealing
so
over here.
If you're looking for a track bike, get in touch with Butter because he could probably find somebody who's trying to get rid of some shit.
I got three of them right now. I got actually 4 of them. I got 4 track bikes.
Not just if you want a bike, but if you and your bike. If
you have like a mini auction. Yeah, we'll stop the show and like have a mini auction.
We'll work on that. We'll do like a one right in the middle of the show. Actually, we'll take a break for that. Yeah. So we're actually getting to around the hour mark for our show. We should probably start winding down.
All right.
But what I want to do is kind of go around the room again and just let everybody do some closing remarks, or if there was something on your mind that we didn't get out there, let's do it. Let's talk about it. So.
All right, I got a couple things.
Sure.
Oh, now?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Just real quick. So as far as like equipment goes, that I think like makes a huge difference. Okay, number one, go Costco or wherever and get one of those folding picnic tables where it's like it could be either the 4-foot long one or the 6-foot long one that folds like a book, or the 4-foot that doesn't fold like a book. Either way, a table is essential, right? Because you want to build a place to take off your helmet. Set up your helmet fan, put down your gloves and let those dry, and something just to put your shit on, your food, your drinks. You need a table, okay? Next thing, you want one of those canvas folding chairs with the aluminum frame, okay? That has like a little platform on the side to put your drink, and little pockets on the side, to put your sandwich, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm saying like. Well, because they're cheap, you know what I'm saying? You find them at like, sporting goods stores, Walmart, like, Harbor Freight, wherever. But these like folding chairs with the canvas, they're just cheap, easy. They don't take up a lot of space. So whenever you're getting stuff, okay, you want things that compress, all right?
True.
So, yeah, you may want to bring a more comfortable chair, but you have limited space. So folding chairs that break down. And the third one that my brother taught me is a military cot. That shit changed my life, bringing in military. Because when you want to fucking stretch out, when you're done, okay, like, well, let's say there's one more session in the afternoon, but you're like, you know what, I'm feeling kind of tired, but I don't want to leave. You take off your gear and boom, you're just out. stretch all the way out on a military cot changed my life. Having
Or
one of
convert
those.
your minivan into a camper like I did. Just go lay down in
Yeah,
the
you
van.
can. You
Yeah.
can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but something that allows you to stretch out and be horizontal, and just like let your spine like decompress.
Yeah.
That was a game changer. So table, a chair, and a cot, like
Good
very
items.
beneficial.
That's for sure. Pete, what you
Yes,
got?
that's just good stuff I wanted to add.
Well, I think he's covered some really good stuff. All you guys have, and for essentials, I think we covered pretty much 99% of it. So I'm not even going to go with essentials. I'm going to go with like stuff that I've done in the past, if that's all right. I'm going to throw it out there. I raced back. You called me a pro. I'm not a pro. I used to race pro years ago, but I raced back in. I started racing in '85. I raced an old Honda 76 550F, and then I moved out to California, raced my Interceptor. I bought a brand new 500 Interceptor and chucked that and cartwheeled it. Came back here in '86, raced the TZ 250 G model. That's how I met Paul, and that bike was that bike taught me how to ride. Bought a Hurricane '87, '88, and raced the National up at Loudon, and then in '89 I bought the FCR, and that's pretty much. It's funny. I'll make this quick, Butter. You were talking about you don't want to be upset when you go on the track. Well, my pissed off took me from a minute 15s to a minute 13s in 2 laps because I was pissed off, and then I did a minute 11s. I was chasing at the National. I was 600 Super Sport race in '89. I was chasing Ashmead, Tom Kipp, Sadowski, and Cam Ruse. Cam Ruse was leading, and there was a pile of guys behind me. And that's when I just like that 2 laps being pissed off just completely changed how fast I was going.
Just to know, that's actual racing though.
That's
racing.
And I will look at the starter, expert practice. He's like, I go look at 1 lap. He lets me go. I get 2 laps in and get in trouble for it. But then I stopped racing in '94 and then started doing track days in '01. Paul Miles calls me in like mid '03. He goes, "What are you doing?" Track days. Just going ride my bike, my old F2 I was riding, and I've been doing them since. I haven't stopped doing them, so it's a lot of years. And 19 years I've been doing track days, and now I started getting racing at 18. My good buddy called me, says in the spring, says, "Pete," and this is the kind of guy you don't say no to. "We're going to Daytona, racing Daytona in October." I'm like, "Okay, all right, Al, I will, whatever." They got me a 750. I finished top 5 and I went racing in 19, and I to top it off a race in 30 years. '89 was the last year I won a race. And I won the last race of the season, the Formula 40, to win the championship at Jersey last year, which was a huge thing. I got chills thinking about it because it was such an awesome feeling to stand up on my pegs and know that I just won that race. So that's cool. I mean, you covered everything with your essential, everything's caught, all that stuff. I don't think I need to go anymore, but you can and Harbor Freight to put in your trailer to mount stuff up.
Yeah.
You want a trailer. I really think you need a trailer. I think that's a huge thing. It's my home away from home.
True. Butter, what you got, man?
So I want to thank you guys, Pete. You my go-to guy, man. I really appreciate having you on the show. Justin, you as well. It's always good chopping it up. We'll definitely talk about some stuff later. I want to encourage anybody, if you ain't got really nothing crazy to do, come out this week. Come out the July 4th weekend. Pete's gonna be racing out at New Jersey Motorsport. I'll be up at New York Safety Track. I know Justin's gonna probably be out too, but come take a look. Just be a spectator. Yeah. See what it is. Walk the paddock. Look for these guys. Look for guys that I mentioned: Certified Knee Draggers, Team Fast Life, Reckless, Riders Club. You got Historic GP Racing. Ricky O'Hara's racing this weekend. I know he could have been on the show. He got caught up at work. But just go out and just see what it is. It will change your life completely, man. Definitely go out. Reach out to Pete. Pete is so educational. Reach out to Justin, Josh. You can reach out to any of us. Pick our brains. Ask questions.
Sure.
I actually had a gentleman who reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to join you on July 2nd. I welcomed in. I said, "Here, PayPal, he's in." I got a couple of people asking me. First-time track guys. I'm encouraging that, man. It's so much more fun. no police, no highway 2 guys, nobody trapping you, no one trying to put a barricade in the middle of you riding. It's just fun, great people, and it's the time of your life. Again, thank you guys for being on the show. I'm honored to have everybody as a guest, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, so the only other thing that I just want to throw in, very last minute, I'll keep it really short. So don't be don't be directed away from going to the track because of all these things we listed off. Obviously, you don't have to have every single one of these things. You don't have to have the checklist. There's certain basics that you need to make sure that you have with you, when you go, but it doesn't have to be the whole kit and caboodle. I would say this too. When I first came back stateside, and I was overseas for 6 years. When I came back stateside, I went to New Jersey Motorsports Park, and I was just amazed and really happy actually that they had Pirelli right there at the track. Awesome deals on tires right there at the track. You bring them your wheels, they'll take your tires off, they'll put the new tires on, they'll give you the right pressure, whatever you want in there. So you don't necessarily have to have the freshest tires when you go, but you'll probably save you some time, when you're sitting around on the side waiting for the Pirelli guys to put your tires on while your session's going. And in addition to that too, there's also other vendors usually available, the places I've gone. There'll be like somebody selling suits and boots and gloves and helmets and all these other things. I don't know if they cut you really good deals on stuff like that. The vendors that I've seen out there usually
Scott does from Moto D-Ring. Yeah, he's awesome.
Miles from Street and Competition has everything you want, so and he's got really good deals, and he's got nice new leathers that are just tremendous. So I mean, Scott, and then there's Parts Club Justin. Yeah. Those all three of those guys are great guys, and I've bought stuff from all three of them. I've known Miles since 1982. Or no, I'm sorry, 83. I met Miles. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be racing CCS 147 amateur on a GSXR. Come over, ask me questions. I don't care. If I'm in the middle of something, give me a minute. I'll help you out.
Right on. So I would say just in general, though, if you're going to be going to the track for a weekend, for 2 days, just approach it like you're camping. Figure out what you need to do to camp, how to be comfortable, how to be ready. And that's kind of the mindset that I have now when I go, is I'm ready to camp for a couple days. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we want to cover tonight. I hope you guys actually learned something at home. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all the people that were talking in the chat. That's always welcome as well. And to you guys, always, Butter, Justin, Pete, thank you guys for being here, being available. I really appreciate it too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Butter, Josh, thank you.
All you guys at home, subscribe to the channel. We're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Beyond the Apex. We talk motorcycles, we talk nutrition, we talk Zen techniques. There's a little bit of everything here, so please join us again. We always like to have you guys around. And as I always say, leave this world better than you found it. Take it easy.
Peace.
Okay, Matt.
Pete, stay on. Pete, you could stay on for a little bit, Pete.
Okay.
Yeah.